So now what we're going to show you is our personal kit. These are the items that we're going to need to keep ourselves safe and warm and happy if we're stuck for a 24-hour period. First thing is our melting pan. So we're going to use this to melt water if our water freezes, or any other useful function we may find for it. Now you'll notice I'm putting everything into a small bucket, okay, as opposed to a duffel bag. We did find some very unique uses for this bucket that you might appreciate later. You also want to carry water. Preferably 1 to 2 liters per person. In this case, it's just me, so I'm adding 2 bottles of water. Next, I'm going to show you a little bit of food. So you want to have things that are non-perishable, okay? So they can stay in your kit for 6 months. I do check my kit about every 6 months just to make sure that I haven't gone past any due dates. You can also put the expiry date of any food that you do put, write it on a piece of masking tape and put it on the top of the kit. So in here we have nuts and fruit strips, protein, put that in. I also have a different type of protein for people who don't eat meat or are allergic to milk and that sort of thing. So add that. I do have some tea packed. Okay, we did have a cup of tea on our 24-hour challenge, which was, I guess it was a nice break. So we've got some tea in there. And I've also packed some dark chocolate. Now I put it in an airtight container. That way it will stay fresh and won't get wet. And if it does melt on a hot day, it's going to stay contained as well. No mess. Next thing I have here are a number of different bags. So we have kitchen type bags, clear bags, garbage bags. All of these have very useful functions. Add those. And tape. Utility tape, pretty much good for all kinds of different repairs, as well as flagging tape. Now, the nice thing is that just fits inside there and uses up a little less space. You want to have some rope. Okay, in this case, it's about 15 meters or 50 feet. This one is reflective, but if you do need to leave your car and wander in very poor visibility, we highly recommend you tie yourself to your vehicle so that you can get back to your vehicle. Next, a sharp knife. This turned out to be one of the most useful tools when we were stuck in our car for the 24 hours. So this is something that is a must in any kit. A little bit of entertainment. So in this case, I have a deck of cards, I have a pen and paper. You could put a good book in, anything that's going to work for you. One of the things that we found was the more boredom started to set in, the more interested we were in eating. So we want to kind of pace out the food. So have some activities that you could do over that period of time. Next is a first aid kit. Now, a lot of the stuff that we have in the first aid kit found around the house, Band-Aids, that sort of thing. The only thing I actually went out and bought were the scissors, and I found them to be very useful. Okay. Also have a saw. Okay, the nice thing about the saw is that if for some reason you get a branch stuck up on your tire, that sort of thing, you're able to cut the branches away. So this will be very useful, especially if you end up sliding off the road. Lighting ourselves up, we've spoken about that a few times. So here I just have a safety light stick and some mini light sticks. If I am stuck in the car with my child, we're going to use these at night, especially as like a night light to kind of take some of the fear away from the event. Add those. Now, in this case, I'm going to show you some batteries and a flashlight. So again, store your batteries outside of your flashlight. I do check my flashlight before I pack it into the kit to make sure everything is working, which I've already done. And I just wanted to show you these batteries. Okay, they're actually soft to the touch. They're squishy. They were sitting in my kit for about 5 years, and when I went to check my kit this time, the batteries were pretty much ruined. So that's another good reason to check your kit frequently and store them outside of your flashlight. So those I'm not going to pack away in the kit, but these ones that I know work, I am. Now, next we have our candles. Okay, and we showed you earlier how to do this. So we've got our candles in a can, which we're going to use to burn the candles as well. And you'll notice I have styrofoam around the edge of the can. That's going to be used as an insulator to pick it up because it gets awfully hot. Add that in there. Now, I just have a regular lanyard here. The useful thing about this is if you do have to get out of your car and do anything, you don't want to have your flashlight and that sort of thing in your hands while you're trying to work with them. So you can just hang this around your neck and attach your light stick or your flashlight directly to this. Next are candles and matches. So we have our matches in an airtight container, as well as a lighter and a survival candle as well. Come in handy. The next thing I'm going to put in here is a mug, and I'm actually going to pack some things in the mug. So lip chap, some more emergency ponchos, And that'll just take up a little less space inside my box here. Stick that in. Perfect. And the last thing I'm going to show you is just some personal items. So there's 2 rolls of toilet paper, some hand wipes, pads and tampons, toothbrush, toothpaste, and a little bit of medication. Please make sure you read any medication that you put in the car carefully and make sure you know how to store it. Some things can't go from hot to cold, in which case they would not be suitable for an emergency kit. Put those right on top there. And the last thing that I'm going to put in are some hand warmers. Now, on our 24-hour challenge, if you click on the videos, you'll see that the hand warmers that we purchased didn't work. So we went and did a little bit of shopping around, and we did find that there are brands that work, and they work very well. Asked a lot of people who ski and that sort of thing, and they pretty much swear by them. So do your research, ask around, find a brand that you like. Hand warmers can be very useful, especially on a cold night. And the last thing is a couple of microfiber cloths. They're just handy for wiping up spills. You want to keep the interior of the car as dry as possible, as well as yourself. So we're going to put those on top. Now, on our print-off list, we also tell you to have a whistle. My whistle just happens to be attached to my key, so I'm not going to put it in the car kit because I'm going to need it in my car, but a good loud whistle that you could use to call somebody, alert somebody to an emergency.